Hey CRCOG family, Pastor Falon here. We are on our final stretch of the corporate fast, and I hope you've had some awesome moments with the Lord and that you continue to do so even when the corporate fast is over. As we reach our finish line together in this corporate fast, I want to encourage you to pay attention to who has your attention. We live in a world where there's always something or someone trying to grab at our attention and our focus. Why? Because usually we are committed to what we pay attention to, right? What we are interested in has our time. If we are not careful, though, our souls begin to feel deprived when we allow other things and other people to have more of our attention than God. All of a sudden, we are not happy like we used to be. We're not as hopeful. We become apathetic with situations. Why? Because literally everything we need to thrive in this life comes from the presence of the Lord. So when we begin to focus on other things more than Him and not give Him our time and devotion, then we begin to feel deprived because we were made to be with Him. David is a great person to learn from with this. We all know, and preachers love to preach about David and how he went from the sheep field to the palace. However, we don't talk too much about the muddy middle, right? There were a lot of things he did wrong, right? A lot of temptations, a lot of mistakes. He had to run for his life. He had to fight for his life. He had to deal with jealousy. There was so much that he had to deal with in that middle area of his life before he reached the palace. And the book of Psalms gives us some insight into his prayer life and devotion to God in the midst of all of that. And it's really beautiful to read through to see how in every season he ran to the Lord. And his ability to run to the Lord, to seek the Lord and communicate with him, with the Lord, I think is what sustained him in his life. So let's look at Psalm 16, 5 through 11. Here's what it says. "O Lord, you are the portion of my inheritance and my cup. You maintain my lot. The lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. Yes, I have a good inheritance. I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also instructs me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My flesh also will rest in hope. For you will not leave my soul in Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. You will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." This is insight on how David talked to the Lord and was devoted to the Lord and just came just as he was, come just as you are to the Lord. And he found literally fullness of joy in the presence of the Lord. And when you look up that fullness of joy, what it means is abundance. Looking at the just original text of that, it means abundance of joy. All you could ever want, above what you could even ask for. That's what is found in the presence of the Lord. And if we are not intentional with giving God our devotion and time, we will miss the fullness of joy that He intended for us. We will miss the abundance of life that He intended for us. There are so many promises outlined in the word of the Lord, but we're not going to know them unless we read the word, right? There are so many promises, so many things that fulfill our souls and our hearts and our lives in the presence of the Lord, but we can't walk those out unless we spend time with Him and devote our time with Him. And I can hear some of you say this right now. Well, I don't have 6 hours to spend in the prayer closet. I understand. And I'm going to give you some insight into my life a little bit here because I want to set some of you free. It does not have to look the same every day. You don't have to go to the Lord at the same time every day. You're not always going to have free time at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So I just want to encourage you, just be intentional, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon. It doesn't have to look the same or sound the same. He just wants you to devote your time to him. He wants you to just focus on him. You can think about him and talk to him even as you work, even as you drive, even as you cook a meal for your family. You can still devote your time to him while doing other things. And it doesn't have to look the same every time. Sometimes I go to the Lord and I just sit in his presence. Other times I'm interceding and praying. There's sometimes I'm laying on the floor. There's other times I'm walking around the house. It doesn't have to look the same every time. God just says, come to him, draw near to me, and I will draw near to you. So if you need more joy in your life, if there's some things that you feel like have been missing, I encourage you, spend time with the Lord. Let that be a commitment in this new year and the rest of your life to spend more time with him and to be intentional about it and see how different you feel when you spend time with him and you make it a priority. I guarantee it will change your life. So I love you all, and I encourage you to run to him in every season and spend time with him like never before.